Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about the Scopes trial and kind of how that affected religion along with modern times. So when we look back at the Scopes trial at this point in time, it seems like something ridiculous that would never happen in our judicial system. But when you think of the time period and the events happening at the time, it makes complete sense. Um, some of the things that I found most interesting was the man who was a serious contender for president of the United States several times, especially in 1896 where he almost won. Uh, he was very anti-evolution. He was very religious, um, and he was the prosecutor in the case. William Jennings Bryan served as the head of the prosecution, and he was also the leader of the Democratic Party for over 2 decades and a very staunch Christian. Um, if you read any of the books of the time period about the politics of the time, you'll see that he was known as someone who had very strong religious beliefs. Um, so, in the article, The Scopes Monkey Trial 80 Years Later, it points out that everyone who reads about the trial now kind of looks back and talks about how ridiculous it was that evolution was even brought up in trial, that it needed to be brought up, that it needed to be legislated, that it was such a big deal, and they use it kind of to attack Christians. Um, if you look at the time period we were in, with sciences kind of getting to be new, people unsure what to believe in, all of that kind of stuff, you'll see that it kind of was an issue of the time period. Um, we are a country founded on representing the people in your area, including their views and beliefs. Bryan's a popular man with Christian views. He was almost elected president. Kind of makes sense that he would be prosecutor and ultimately win the case eventually. Um, Religion was something that the people of the time period truly believed in this degree. Um, so when you start talking about religion and the modern world as times modernized in the 18 and 1900s, um, one of the things that we see is our society changes and our beliefs kind of have to adapt to that. Um, that's why the Puritans and the Quakers are not around in the mass numbers they were originally. They were very strict in their beliefs and were not able to adapt and grow with time as it happened. We see that with this whole evolution angle as another theory um, of mankind, um, where Christians would not even let the theory be present or heard, and it was a time period where science was starting to become a big deal, and it ended up actually hurting the cause of Christianity, in my opinion. Um, if religion cannot grow to adapt to the society around it, it'll become overrun. Then it will either have to change or disappear. Um, as the defense attorney said, all he wanted to do, he kind of thought he'd lose at the time, all he wanted to do was bring light the Democratic Party views, which at the time seemed to be a little racist, traditional, and old-fashioned. Um, and he wasn't that worried about the actual outcome of the case. He had hoped for a win, but kind of, I think, knew he wasn't going to. In fact, he said at one point, "You should find my defendant guilty." So the trial ended with with Bryan's winning, um, and the evolution side losing. But it's still a landmark case, looking how religion and modern America kind of clashed and always do and will clash. So within 45 years of that decision, a new Supreme Court decision came down repealing the Butler Act, which was the act that the defendant had been accused of breaking, teaching evolution in schools. And it just goes to show you that eventually, um, if you can't change, you will lose. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope to hear some discussion about this and hope to talk to you all soon. Thank you much. Bye.